I woke up the next morning feeling refreshed. I noticed some clean clothes at the end of the bed and changed into them. They were rather comfortable. I checked the bedroom door. Still locked. I sat down and started thinking about what to do now. Should I try to convince Armaeus that I'm all his now? Should I ask him not to use his power on me anymore? And if I did, would he agree to it? There was a knock on the door. "Come in," I said hesitantly. In walked Armaeus, or was it one of his clones? I couldn't be sure. He had a soft grin on his face. "Would you like to get breakfast with me, Araya?" he asked. Sure, I guess. I was gonna have to get used to this. "Wonderful. Come with me," he says, holding out his hand. I took his hand and stood up, but then he pulled me close. "Tell me, are you gonna behave today? Or am I gonna have to mind control you again?" he asked me. I'll behave," I said. "Promise?" "I promise." "Good," he said before giving me a kiss on the cheek. "Let's go." He then led me to the dining room, where breakfast was already made and set out on the table. I sat down at the table, and he sat down at the other end. We both started eating, and I admit the food was delicious. "You seem quiet," Armaeus said. "Tell me why." "I just don't have anything to talk about," I said. "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." "Well, for someone who doesn't have anything to talk about, you seem to have a lot on your mind." I was scared to ask, but I had to know. "Why go through all this trouble just to have me?" "To keep you safe, my dear." "Safe from what?" This I had to know. "There is a greater darkness out there," Armaeus said. "One that has possessed Rise." "A darkness?" "Yes, and there's no way to save him from it." "What is this darkness exactly?" "I believe it may be someone's ability," Armaeus said, now finished with his breakfast. "I wish there was a way to save him. Believe me, I really do. But it's impossible." "Have you even tried?" Multiple times. Each time I've had to send a clone to the past to start over." "What even is your power?" "I can make clones that have their own ability. The more complex the ability I want them to have, the less likely it is for them to have that power." "The more complex the ability?" "For example, if I wanted a clone to have, let's say, control over electricity, it wouldn't be as likely to gain that ability as it would be if I wanted it to have enhanced strength." "I see." He was really giving me this information, which was a bit surprising. "So every time you tried to make a clone with the power to remove the darkness, I was too late." "Why not keep trying?" "I gave up hope. Now that Rise is locked up, I don't have to worry about him killing you," he said as he got up and started walking toward me. He leaned over me and was rather close. "I'm just glad my lifelong friend is safe," he said softly. My cheeks turned a bit red, and he could see it. He smiled, leaned down, and kissed me. I kissed him back, and I admit I was enjoying it. After a few seconds, he pulled away and took my empty plate, went back to his spot to pick up his own plate, then took them to the kitchen and sat them in the sink. I stood up and followed him. "Can I see him?" I asked. I wanted to know if Rise was okay. "That might not be a good idea," Armaeus said. "Please, I just want to see for myself that he's okay." Armaeus sighed and made a clone, who started washing the dishes. "All right, but don't get too close to him," Armaeus said. "Follow me." He started walking down the hallway, down some stairs, and he showed me the way to the room he had Rise locked up in. Rise was in a cage with a bed and table. There was a clone just outside the cage. He probably had the ability to keep people from using their ability. Rise was sitting on the floor next to his bed. When I entered the room, he looked up at me, eyes red from crying. Araya? His voice was shaky, as well as his breath. I started walking up to the cage, but Armea stopped me. He's too dangerous, Armea said. He can't hurt me, I said in response. He wouldn't. Fine, but first sign of aggression, and we're going back upstairs, understand? Yes. Armea let me go, and I walked up to Rise's cage. Rise stood and walked up to me. Araya, whatever he told you, it's not true, Rise said. Rise, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to find out. I promise, I said. Please, what did he tell you? He said there was some sort of darkness inside you, and that he's been trying to protect me from it. Araya? Rise then whispered something in my ear that made my breath hitch. Come on, we should go before he gets too riled up, Armea said. I took a few steps back. Araya, please, get me out of here, Rise cried out. Without saying another word, Armea and I went back upstairs. I'm so sorry you had to see him like that, Armea said softly. Can't you try again? I asked. No, I can't handle losing you anymore, he said, hugging me from behind. I took a deep breath. What Rise said had me a bit shaken. What did he say to you? Armea asked me. He said he regrets not saving me the first time. I had lied, although I'm sure Rise does regret not saving me the first time. Come on, let's go for a walk, Armea said, taking my hand. We went outside and went for a walk through the garden.
Hey guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video, but now let's talk about YouTube statistics. Now according to YouTube statistics, only a small percentage of my viewers are subscribed. So if you aren't subscribed, then please do subscribe. It's free and you can always change your mind and it really helps me out. And also be sure to click the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload. Please have a great day/night.